All right. All right, looks like we're live. Happy Mother's Day. I don't know if there's any moms that watch my stream, but anyways, so let's see where we can pick up from where we left off last weekend. So yesterday we just did a little detour. We did a little detour and we were working on the migration to cloud.orangadb.com. So that should that's blocked in one more issue, but we're code complete on that. So we can context switch back to our time range option PR. And I created a work in progress PR here just earlier to try to understand like what the heck we've been doing so far for this feature. So 1,000 new lines is kind of a lot. But as you can see, there's a lot that's changed. And if we look at our PR-driven development, I think where we left off last weekend was here. So we implemented this, the pod time selector smart component that we're going to embed in the pod form. And I think we did this. I think we added it to the pod form. I actually forget. So I left some to-dos in my code. Okay, yeah, so here's the pod form hooks where we were updating the start time, end time, and time range options of the pod. And okay, so it looks like we were updating the pod, I think. And then we edited the pod form to have the pod time selector. So let's take a look at the pod time selector. I'm trying to jog my memory as to what this thing even is. So it takes the pod ID, user ID, value, and on change. Oh, right. Okay. So this is the thing that pulls in the time range selector pure component. Now I'm remembering. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what this looks like. So if you say create pod, it's okay. So yeah, now we have the time option. So we use the event time by default. And if we hit enable planning, then we can add time range options like so. Yeah, okay. So let's, and then custom has start and end time. And I think this was working. So let's start off by testing this out, make sure things are still working, and then clean up the code and commit. Before we do that, I should probably get my chat on my phone so I don't have to keep checking here. Do we have anyone watching? Oh, we got someone on Twitch. So give me a second for me to load this up on my phone. We're just going to do maybe 90 minutes. Just a single session tonight. Okay, how do I load this? Let's go to Brave. Chat.restream.io. Okay. Let that load. Give that a second. Hope everyone had a good weekend and you called your mothers. And wish them a happy Mother's Day and thank them for everything. Why isn't this loading? What's going on? Okay, maybe I can just forget about the chat for now. Oh, okay, it's loading. All right, we'll just leave that here on the desk. All right, so come on. I should get a stand for this thing. Yeah, that's good enough. All right, so what are we doing? Oh, interesting. What's this? From iPhone. Oh, it loads up. Interesting. Let's close that. Okay. So we want to commit this pod time selector that we wrote last weekend, but it's kind of work in progress. I think there's a bunch of to-dos in here. So let's see where we're at. Let's start by, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Yeah, okay, let's look at the code. Okay, so we have start and end times. So it's a radio option, a radio grid, 3 options. And we have a enable planning mode. So we show the time range selector if planning is enabled. We show custom. Oh yeah, okay. So we show the start and end time if it's a custom option. I think this is working. And then we do nothing basically if the time option is use event. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. So if I say start time is Tuesday at and then end time is Wednesday. What happened? It should have done this. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember how this works. Okay, on add start time gets called. Where does that happen? Here. Save start time, on change start time time. So on change gets called, and on change, I think this is being embedded in the pod form. So let's look for pod time selector here. So on change is on time option changed. On time option changed here. Let's make sure this is being called correctly. On time option changed. Start time, end time, and time range options. Save that. Let's try that again. I'm not sure if this is being called correctly. Yep, reload. Okay. Let's see if we can do this now. So create pod, custom time, start time, start this time, end at Tuesday. Okay, on time options changed, undefined. What the heck is this? Oh, this is like the raw. So start time is undefined. Okay, I see. So this is, we're passing the wrong thing to on change. So we don't want to just pass this time object. Where else were we doing this? We were doing this in the event, event filters, I think. Right? Start time. On save start time. I think we have to format it. Set start time. Where is it? Here. Let's save end time. Start time, end time. Interesting. Oh, I see. Okay. So we can probably So it looks like it is giving it a date object. Day, hour, length, minute, week, day. Let's see, what's the best way of doing this? Day.js. So I'm using day.js. This is like a moment.js sort of replacement library. Where's the end time? I misspelled it. Here. Am I actually importing day.js? Okay, I am. Good. So I think this will give us what we actually want. Reload this. Start time Monday. End time is Tuesday. No. Oh, so this is this is a day.js object. Okay, so then never mind. I see. Yeah, okay. Day.js. Time range. Render time range string. Format. Okay. On pod params changed. Well, if I try to, I think this will actually work. I don't think I have to change the format of these time options. But the pod params, they're not updating the form. Like I expect the time to render here. So let's look at the hooks. Pod params. Get time range options. On pod params changed. I believe I passed that method out of here. Set pod params. Yeah. So this is set pod params basically. Let's see where this is imported. Yeah, okay. Is dirty true set pod params. So pod params. Hold on, this music is a bit distracting. I don't know what the heck this is. Let's try something else. Okay. So set pod params. So this is actually very similar to the event filters, where I should be importing pod params. Use pod hooks. Get pod by ID. Pod. Yeah. Pod params. Value. Oh, I see. So I'm not passing in the start and end time and time options here. I need those. I need to render those. So let's see. I think this is what I have to do. Start time, end time, time range options have to come through. Okay. And start time. That's the default option of the picker. Where's that? Here. So that should be value. Boom. Oh, pod.start time. Oh, I see. So I'm passing it in through the pod. So why isn't the pod updating? Where is the pod? Where am I getting that? Get pod by ID. Oh, that's why. Okay, so this is not. Let me think about this. This is actually querying the backend, not the local cache. So these are like local variables. So maybe instead, is that all we're using pod for? Time range options. Yeah, okay, so we actually don't want to do this. This should not be a smart component. This should not be a smart component. You see what I'm saying? Is that true? Yeah, I think this should not be a smart component. This should be a pure component. So let's do this. I'm not 100% certain on that yet though, so I think we have to pass in the start, end time, and time range options. I think. Yeah. And so then here we can just do time range options. And then also where we're doing oh, interesting. Is the syntax correct? So start time is here. And then end time is here. Oh man, it's a big component, lots of props. You can probably refactor this later. Okay. So now we have to pass them in the smart component. So where are we rendering this thing? Here. So now, I don't think we need the pod ID even actually anymore. Right? Because I think we were only using the pod ID for that query. That's correct. So let's get rid of that. Let's just get rid of all this. I don't know why I wanted this to be a smart component, honestly. I don't know. What am I importing all this crap for? Don't need use callback. I definitely need prop types, but that's another thing. Okay. See, this is why I don't do prop types until the component is more fleshed out. So I don't need this. User ID. What do I need user ID for? Time range selection. Oh. So actually, this is a good question. Should I only show my time ranges or should I show all the time ranges? I should show just my time ranges, I believe. Let's leave it like that. Okay, so start time is pod dot start time. I can't type start, can I? And this is start goes to end. And then this is end time goes to time range options. I think this is this syntax right? Or is it like this? No, it's this. Oh, but it just doesn't have pod, that's why. Where's the pod coming from? Is it called my pod? My pod. Yeah, it's called my pod. I guess because you're editing it. All right. That should work. So save that. And I think that should be good. So now my pod is being dynamically updated by the hooks. Right? Or is that pod params? Oh, actually, you know what? No, I think it's pod params. We're supposed to be using pod params. Yeah, I think that's correct. Let's see. Pod is not defined. What? In pod time selector. Where am I using pod? Time range options. On pod changed. I don't know why this is being called. Yeah, this is definitely a work in progress component. Oh yeah, we don't need this anymore. On pod changed. Get pod by ID loading. Oh, I remember why I was doing this. Let's just do it like this. Let's keep this. Let's keep this a pure component. The loading state will be handled by the pod form. Yeah, because in the future we want to, yeah, I remember now. It's all coming back to me. In the future, we want to refactor it so that we don't query the time range options unless we get the pod by ID, because it's a pretty expensive query to traverse all those edges. This is good. So now we need loading. On pod changed, we can delete that. On radio changed. Maxed end date. So this is start time. And then this is loading. All right. Now loading is going to be, oh, yeah, reload. Loading is going to be passed in here. Is pod get pod by ID query? No, where's the loading state coming from? Get event by ID is loading. Oh, we don't actually have that coming through from the hooks. Get event by ID. Oh, what? We don't have get pod by ID. Create pod, update pod, join pod, delete pod. Yeah, see, this is not how I like to do it, this gigantic hooks file. I like to split up each GraphQL query and mutation into their own file. This is like tech debt. I have to pay back. Maybe I'll pay it back in another PR. But I guess what we can do, is, let me think. Let's just do a, let's do it like this. Loading will be false by default. We'll come back to that in a second. I just want to make sure this makes sense. All right, come in here. Custom. Add a start and end time. So this and Tuesday. And are we not passing it through? Oh, okay, yeah. So we're not supposed to use my pod. My pod doesn't change. It's pod params. Here we go. Boom. So let's do start time, end time, time range options. Then pass that in here. Yeah, my pod is the backend response, not the local state. All right, let's try that. I think that should work. Okay. So custom. Okay, now I think we're, yeah, okay, now we're working. Oh, wait, but we're losing. Oh, I think I know why that's happening. In here, on change. So we actually need to pass in, we have the spread. So here is just doing it like this. Start time. And by the way, we don't need to do this day.js stuff. This is not correct. And in fact, we can just do this. And then we can also do that for end time. So we our calling on changed, right? On time option changed. Oh no, but start time, end time. Start time, end time. Yeah, because this is going to be undefined, and we're going to set this to undefined when we change the end time. So really, we just want to change. Like if we don't pass the end time, we don't want to reset start time to undefined. So that's kind of messed up. That means we have to pass all of them like this. This seems kind of, I don't know if I like this. You see what I'm saying? I have to do this on every update. Whatever, let's just get it working first. This seems kind of weird. I'm basically doing like a redux, you know? Like this component is a subset of the full state here. Ah, shit. Yeah, whatever. It's fine, I guess, for now. Okay, save this. This is not a smart component, by the way, anymore. We should move this into the pure components. We'll do that in a second. I want to get this working here with the form. So custom time, start time is this, end time is Tuesday. Okay, so that's working. Now, if I go to event time and I come back, okay, good. So it doesn't erase the state. And I can change this, I assume. So we can say Monday at 9. And then keep the same end time. Monday at 9. Okay, good. So this is working. And this should still be working too, enable planning. So let's add a time range. So let's say Monday. Edit that range. Oh, can't do structure option dot time range as it's undefined. All right, so that we broke that. Let's fix that. Right here. Time ranges. Wait, is that happening on time range selector? Oh, I see, I see. So we're not passing here. So time range options is undefined. Okay, okay. So this has to be time range selection. So this has to be an empty array by default. So let's just add that at this point. What do you say? What do you say? Let's just do it. This is a good time to do it. So pod time selector dot prop types is equal to, and then let's do this. Replace this with that. Bingo. And then we'll say, actually, let's do something else. Let's undo that. And we'll say, shit. We'll say comma goes to prop types dot. Aha. So time range options is a array. I'm not going to put the shape in for now. We'll get to that. End time is a string. Oh, actually, no, it's a date. I don't think there's a date object. Is there? Instance update. Oh, okay. That works. And then same with this. And then on change is a func. And it is required. If I can spell required. Value is a string. It's not required. User ID is also a string. It is required. And loading is a bool. And it's not required. That looks good to me. I like to put the required stuff at the top. Like that. And then now we actually have to copy these again. Get the default props. Pod time selector dot default props, and we're gonna make this loading as false. Let's do this again. User ID is required, so it's on change. So value is undefined. Start time is undefined. End time is also undefined. Now here's what we're fixing. There we go. Boom. So that's what we want. Oops, what just happened? What the hell just happened? Did I not reload? Oh, I hit escape. I hit my pedal. I put the pedal to the metal. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Create. Go. Custom time. Oh wait, no, that one works. We want to check this one. So let's add a time. We'll say Monday. Bango. Edit. Ah, shit. Can't read property start of time range because it's undefined. Why? So what I don't understand is why here. Why is time range options undefined? This doesn't make any sense. Did I break the pure component? Let's try this again. Add this range. Save. Oh, okay, well, what the hell? It's working now? Did it just not hot reload? Huh. Oh, but wait, this is empty array. This should not be empty array. On time range options changed. So what the heck is going on? Why is this empty array? I must have broken the time range selector. What is this called? On change? New selection. Where is that called? On edit mode changed. If we're not in edit mode, then call on selection. Mode changed. Selection and then local time ranges. So I expect local time ranges to be the range that I just selected. This was working, wasn't it? All right, let's create. Mode changed. Oh man, why is this not working? This was working. All right, let's debug it. Local time ranges. Oh, I probably have to use callback here, huh? Slot, set local time ranges. On edit mode changed. On select slot, on selecting. Yeah, whenever I select a new slot, it updates the local time ranges. right? I could have sworn this was working just last weekend. Start, end. I probably have to do a use callback on edit mode changed. Right? Oh, yeah, because... Yeah, I do. Because this is also doing this. My bad. Local time ranges is a state variable. And so is selection. So I think that's what the problem was. Reactor's not updating accordingly. Let's see. Come in here. Enable the planning. Oh shit, infinite loop. Why is it infinite loop? If is not edit mode and local time ranges dot length. Oh no, you know what? This was the to do. I think I forgot to commit. Yeah. Okay, this is where I have to compare. Okay, so we have to compare local time ranges to selection, actually. Unique every sum intersection, or difference rather. Difference. So we have to, because the selection, where is it? Local time range options and time range options have to be compared. So don't call this yet. It's like this. Time range options. And I want to see... it's not this we want to check. It's the difference between local time range and the time range options. If this is greater than 1, then we call onChange. But I just want to make sure that time range options and local time ranges are the same format. I believe they are. Like, we only want to update if we actually mutated the array. And the easy way to check that is just to check the length. Right? So we're going to add some range. Here we go. So when the mode changed, yeah, so select slot is being called correctly. And then the mode changed is time range user ID state. So there's our time range option. And it's in local time ranges. So the difference between time range options and local time ranges will be 1, because 1's empty. The local time ranges has 1 thing in it. It's not enough. Okay, no, it's not enough to compare this length. We actually have to, like, we have, you know, because you can let me think about this. This is naive. Well, this will work for now, but let's do it to do here. To do actually compare options. Yeah, we're just comparing the length is not enough. We have to actually compare if the options are the same or not. So we're going to add 1 new option on Monday. Save it. And difference. Huh. I thought difference... Do I not understand what difference does? I thought it was like the opposite of union. I think I'm right. Oh no, I'm not right. This is not what I'm trying to do. All right, let's just do this right. So I want to, like, I want to see if they're different. If this and this are different. How can I do that? Well, I guess one easy way is just looping through difference by, difference with. Here we go. X is 1, Y is 2, X is 2, Y is 1. Difference with objects if they're equal. So I guess I could do the same thing. Comparator is invoked. Difference with. What's the default comparator? I think it's is equal, right? Is equal. I think we want is deep equal though. Is deep equal. Difference with is deep equal. It's not deep equal. What's it called? Just is equal. Oh, it just does is. Okay, it's a deep comparison. Is equal with. Customizer. Is equal with. What's the difference between difference with? Is equal with. Returns true if they're equivalent. I wonder if this will work. I don't think it will. Let's try though. I'm learning something new. So we want to say is difference with equal with, or is equal with rather. And then we want oh my gosh, come on. Is equal. So what I think I can do, oops, let's go back to here. I think I can say, let's get rid of this. I think I can do this. Is equal. And then this can be is equal with. Let's actually log this out though. I'm not sure what this is going to be. I think, I need a comma. I think this will work. Let's look at it. Is equal with time range options, local time range is equal. If not, we can use the difference with, but this might work. I'm not sure how Lodash handles array comparison. Enable planning. Oh, nope. I guess it is always returning true. That's not good. Yeah, it's always true. They're always equal. Oh, wait, no, that's my bad. I'm supposed to do this. It was actually working correctly. All right. Enable planning, edit, time range, bam, save. Okay, so it's still returning false. So this is false when they're empty is equal. Good. And then it's returning true. Oh, wait, so this is working. This is if not equal time range options. They're not equal, which is true. Okay. Well, so what's the deal then? Why is this not why am I spreading selection? What the heck am I doing in here? Why am I spreading the selection? That makes no sense. That makes no sense what I'm doing. Let's not do that. Here. This should just be local time range options. Right? And then also, yeah, reload. this on edit mode changed calls on change, and on change is being called here. On change is on time range options changed. So let's actually look at this. Time range options, time ranges. So time range options changed. Let's get some more real estate here. Mode changed. No, what am I looking for? Test. I gotta clean up these console logs. Here we go. So this is right. Test is being given the right things. Time range options. Wait, what's going on here? This looks good to me. So can't read property start of option.timeRange. Option.timeRange. Huh? It's there. Why? That's on line 88 though. Option.timeRange. Time range options. Time range options. Options. Why would option not have a time range? This is a bit confusing to me. Huh? Oh, I didn't add anything. Why did that not work? So the option, what am I printing? The option is this. Oh, interesting. So the thing that I'm passing into this component, the time range options, is coming directly from the. Oh, okay, I understand now. So the stuff that we're storing in the backend. Let me verify this. So this would be in pod.types, I believe. Time range option. Yeah, okay. So time range option has a start, end, and state. But the UI expects a different format. Type time range option. Start. Okay. So we just need to transform it. We need to transform it before we pass it into this this component here. I think we're doing that in the pod card actually, because we haven't removed it yet. Right? No, not this one. This is the one I want to delete. This one. Start end. Yeah, I think we're transforming it somewhere. On time range options changed. No? Well, where should we actually do that transformation? Between the database state and the UI state. I guess it should be in this component. Let me think for a minute. Let me think. Time range options. Because here we're actually setting the shape, I believe, down here. No, we're not actually. I should do that. Time range options. So we should actually fix this then. Like this. So it's expecting a time range. And then it's expecting a start. Instance of date. And a end. And it's expecting an availability. No, it's called state, I think. Start, end, and state. That's right. Okay, that's a string. Oh my gosh. And that's required. And these are also required, actually, aren't they? Yeah, that is better. Oops. All right, so no, don't reload. Actually, well, it doesn't matter. We need to pass it in this form. So it's this component's job to transform it correctly. So here, time range options. Oh, actually, I see. So it's coming into this component correctly. Let's verify that. Actually, maybe this should be the job of the hooks. Okay, maybe they should transform this to the correct UI state. Oh, was I doing that? Time ranges, get time range options. Oh, I was doing that. Why did I comment this out? I don't know why I did that. So this is state, start, end, and time range. Weird. This should fix it. All right, let's try that. Alrighty. So yeah, this is where we should handle the mapping between the backend and the UI state. Yo, Reynaldo, what up? You're on the stream. How's it going, man? Just doing some React dev right now. Hope you had a nice Mother's Day. All right. Let's see if that fixed the issue. So let's come in here and enable the planning. Add the time range. We'll do Monday. And boom, and it broke. So why is it undefined? This is correct. Start end state. Start end state. Oh, no, it's not correct. So the get time range options, I'm mapping it incorrectly here. So I'm mapping it from the UI to the backend, but now I have to map it from the backend to the UI. So it has to be bidirectional. Yeah, see? So where do I load it from? Time range options, pod params. I think I do that here. Yeah, so after I load the pod, I do it here. So this has to be like, what should I call it? Map time range options. Yeah, man. I don't think my brain's wired for this either, but I just keep pushing through. I don't think anyone's brain is. It's just how much pain can you tolerate, how much frustration. Like, as you see right now, I'm trying to figure out why the heck this is not working. I think I have an idea, though. I think it should work. So we basically have to take in the array of options and map it like we're doing up here. But now instead, we're going to say return the options dot map, and we're going to return something like this. So we're going to return a time range, which is going to have, oops, I messed that up. It's going to have a, well, also I missed something here, didn't I? Yeah, I missed that. So it's going to have a start, which is the, let's just do it like this. Let's keep it clean. And then it's going to have a state, and then we'll just structure the option here. So we'll do it like this. Start, end, state. Right? And that should work. Bam. I think this is the only place, let's reload that we're mapping the time range options. Well, let's just see. Time range. It should be only one place. If it's not, then that's bad code. Oh, crap. It is in two places. So we should refactor this. This is not dry. Dang it. Yeah. Well, let's just do it. Let's just copy this and then go back to where we're doing it here and just paste it. So that should fix that. Event.mypod. Anyways, let's save that. Oh, now it's complaining about something. Missing dependency, mypod time range options. Oh, that's just a typo. This whole file should be refactored, man. This is when I was like first learning the hooks API for React. And I was like, what the heck are hooks? And at first I hated it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so confusing and verbose. But then once you have the aha moment, you realize that hooks are amazing. And they're like the final state, like the final form of React. It's like it just became JavaScript. It like did there and back again, you know? All right, let's do this. Bam! Dang it. I still don't understand why it's not mapping correctly. Why is start end state why is this not mapping? Map time range options. Let me think here. It's coming from pod params, right? And pod params is here. Set pod params. Map time range options. Set pod params. Map time range options. What? Map time range options. All right, let's see here. Pod params. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. I think I understand finally. So we are pulling the time range options right off pod params, and we're setting. Yeah, so we. Dang it. Dang it. So we actually have to call the mapping here. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Now it's in two places. Good lord. Well, we could pass the mapping out of the hooks and then import it here. On pod param. You know what we could probably do instead? Just wrap it. This is so ugly. 400 lines. Jesus. Yeah, so set pod params. We can just do this. We can wrap this. Boy, I don't like that. What do I call it in here? On pod params changed. So Set pod params. Let's call it update pod params. Let's do this. This is like the least hacky way of doing it at this point. Let's call it like update pod params. This is where we're going to do all the mapping, okay? And we're going to say params. And we're going to say return set pod params mapped params. And mapped params is going to be params, but then we're going to like time range options. We're going to do something like this. Map time range options params dot time range options. Oh, but we only want to do this if params dot time range options. Otherwise, it's undefined. This is the least hacky way I can think of doing it right now. And then instead of set pod params, we're going to pass the update pod params. Like, I don't want to leak the implementation details out of this hooks file. So we're going to save this. I think that should fix it. There's got to be a better way of doing this. Yeah, there is a better way of doing this, but for now, we'll just do it this way. I should do a refactor PR. Okay, so we grab this. Come on. All right, well, now we have an infinite loop. So we're getting there. So it's always saying that they're different. Why is that? Let's actually look. So this is the first one. Okay. And then the second one, why is it saying this is different? Oh, because one has a user ID, one doesn't. That's why. That's why. Okay, so that's fine. We have to add the user ID. So where are we doing that? User ID. Wait, which one has the user ID? The time range options? Yeah, so the one we're passing into this component has the user ID because we're using it to do the filtering here. But the time ranges that we are... So I guess we could just do this. And that'll make them equal. I'm just being late. Like, this is kind of hacky. We don't need to be storing this user ID on that. But I just like this syntax. Where's my syntax? I like to use this. This is nice. If is equal, and so I have to, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not the best way of doing it. Let's see. We can refactor in a second. I just want to get this working so I can get to a good state. No, see, why are they still equal? Why are these equal? This should have the user ID in it. Yeah, it says user ID. Where's the user ID? Oh, it's because in my mapping, I'm not mapping the user ID. Map time range options. All right, well, this is not correct then, because we don't want the user ID in the UI. We don't want the user ID. Well, I guess we do, actually. Option.user ID. Time range option. Map time range options. Map time range options. Yeah, so we do want the user ID. I'm wrong. We do want it. I forgot that. Oops, and I have to put it here. All right. And we'll go enable planning. Come on, 10 times the charm. And bingo. Oh shit. Boom. We have a time range option on our pod. Cool. Okay. So now what? Now if I change it to custom and back here, oh, but it deletes it. It deletes it when I change it. That's not good. But it doesn't delete it if I change this one. Yeah, why does it not why does it not delete this, but it deletes it here? Oh, I think I know why. First of all, let's get rid of this console logs. They have a shit ton of console logs. Yeah, it's because here. Maybe. Let me think. Sorry. On values changed. So the mapping. So. This is an empty array. Huh. Actually, no, I'm confused. This should... Unchange. Huh. Radio grid. Sorry, I'm just trying to understand why when I come here, these are still here. They shouldn't be. Where's the state being stored? Oh, it's probably being stored in these actual date time pickers. Like they probably have their own local state. No. That's not true. Alright, so what the heck? Why is pod params... Why is this persisting? Render form. The pod params. Yeah, this doesn't make sense to me. I have to understand this. On time option changed, we set start time and end time. On save current user. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, okay. I see why. I remember now why. It's because I did this. Where did I do it? Where did I do it? Here. So if there's no time range options, then we set it to undefined. All right, well, let me try to understand why why these are persisting. So if I set a custom start and end time, and set this to Tuesday, and then I change it, boom. Why is it still there? Okay, so I expect render form. Oh, it's because it's memoized. Right? Like this is not re-rendering the form. Okay, so it's just being memoized. Yeah, I see. Okay, well that's actually... it's not consistent. Yeah, see? Because look, when you render the form, it's actually undefined right now. Everything's undefined, but it's still rendering. Start and end time. This is not a valid state. So we should... Um... So maybe if I say start time, end time. I'm trying to understand why those text fields are maintaining their state and not re-rendering. Because the planning is correct. So this is the current state, right? Where it has a start and end time. And I switch back to planning and it resets the form. And I switch back and they're still there. So why is render time selector still has the start and end times? But they should be undefined. They're not. Oh. Start and end time is not reset. Okay, so never mind. This is functioning correctly. I was just trying to understand what was going on here. So switching the value of the time selector doesn't actually update the pod params. Is that good UX? Let me think about that. Right? Like if I come in here. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that is good UX. Because then when we actually hit create or update, we'll just use the value of whatever is currently selected. So where do we do that? Well, first of all, where are we getting the value for the time option? So time option is going to determine what we use when we actually do the mutation. So actually do the mutation here. So create pod. Oh shoot. Okay, so we actually have to be like do some logic in here then. Yikes. Well, should we do it here in line? Like this? So if time option is equal to custom, then we're going to use the param start time. Otherwise, we're going to set it to undefined. And this is the same. Wait, where's time option? That's also on the params, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So I understand now. This is the best UX. Because you don't want someone to like click off something and then like lose all their work. So this is going to go to start, it's going to go to end. And time range options, likewise, is going to be similar. But it's going to be like this. It's going to say params.timeOption equals planning. Then we get the time range options. Otherwise, it's undefined. Like that. I think that's good. So let's save that. Oh, what did I just do? Shit. Oh, no, it's good. Okay. Prettier is just freaking out. All right, so let's copy this. Start time, end time, time range options. And, oh my god, I can't use Vim right now. And we're going to also look for join pod. Where's update pod? Here. So it's the same thing here. But we called it pod params for some reason. shit. Oh my gosh. Why can't I type? Come on. Pod params. There you go. Okay, I think that's what we want. Custom planning. I don't like these magic strings. We can refactor that. Oh, it's enable planning. See, this is why you got to use enums. TypeScript, honestly. All right, I think that should be good. So if this is wait, update pod params. Yeah, okay, this is my mapping. So if this is what we're gonna do, then we need to store the state of the time range options even when we change the time option. So where does this happen? Where does this come into play? The time option. Oh, come on. What the heck? Why is this only saying it can find it once in the file? Is VS Code broken? Time option right here. Oh no. VS Code. Let's close it and reopen it maybe? Let's try that again. Search. Okay. Whew. Minor hiccup. So let's go to where's this being updated? Here. Get time option. Return custom. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is what I want to do. I want to say, you know, if pod dot start time, then we return custom. Else if pod dot time range options, then we return enable planning. Else we return event. What's it called? What is it called? Custom. What did I call it? Where's time options? Use event time. Okay. Yeah. This needs to be refactored. These magic strings are no good. All right, so where are we resetting the time range options? That's happening here, right? So on time options changed. On time option changed. Where are we saying on change? Not dating option. On time option changed. Here. So time range options is going to be an empty array at this point, right? On time option changed. Yeah, so this empty array. So if we add something to this, let's add another time, right? And where'd it go? Oh, that's weird. The first time. Anyways, if we add a time range, right? Obviously the time range options changed gets called. And then we want to switch to this. So what's going to happen? This is going to be called... Okay, so... where is this? Here. So on radio changed. On radio changed. Set time option. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, and then when the time option changes... Wait, I'm trying to understand this. On radio changed. Time option. So when the time option changed, we call on value changed. And on value changed... What? Alright, I don't understand what's going to happen right now. So if I move this to custom... Oh. This doesn't get called. So that means... But when I come back here... On time range is called. On values changed. This only gets called once. Undefined. Why would this ever be... I don't even think I need this. On radio changed. Set time option. On value changed. I don't think I need this. On value changed. Who calls... Oh, that gets called if I change it from here. Oh, okay. So I do need this. Never mind. Set show time picker. Set show end time picker. Sorry, I'm getting lost in my own thoughts here. Yeah, so why would I change this to enable planning? Does it call on time options changed? This should only be called when the time selector calls on change. And this only calls on change when the save time. It should only be called 3 times. So on time range options changes. Time range options. Oh, I think I have to do the same thing here. Time selector change time range is... I think I'm understanding what's going on here with this. Like there's embedded state. There's like the state of the form in the pod hooks, and then there's the state of the embedded components. Why did that not refresh? Oh, come on. I lost my hot reloading? Oh, yeah. That's weird. Maybe I have to update React scripts. Okay. What is it, 8:47? All right, we'll do another 15 minutes. Get this finished. Yeah, once we have all this working with the form, we can refactor it. And let's take a step back while we're waiting for this to load. So we're still working on this commit, adding it to the form, taking longer than I expected, but there's a complex state going on in here. And then we want to refactor the selector out of the pure component, the pod card pure component. And we're going to show it in a modal when they click join pod. And then there's a bunch of like just bug fixes that should be pretty trivial. And then show time ranges and calendar. Oh yeah, this is a decent. Okay, so we just have a decent chunk of work still for this feature, but this is the hardest part right here. Once we have this, we should be in the clear. So let's add a range. Let's switch to custom. And now, okay, so let me try to understand what's going on here. Render time selector. I expect this time selector change to be called yeah, so it's called with an empty array. So the reason it's called with an empty array is because the time range options. So let's think this through. Here, mode changed. So inside the pure component, we have to fix it here. So we have a selection, local time ranges, the time range options. So selection, local time ranges, and then the time range options. So I understand now. So this is the bug. This is what we just changed here. So this is calling on change with an empty array because they're not the same. So it's not sufficient to say, are we not in edit mode? And is the local time ranges like this is not sufficient. Well, let me verify that before we go on here. So is edit mode. So this is going to be, yeah, okay, so this is not sufficient. Is edit mode is not a good enough check. We basically want to say like, let me think about this. It's not sufficient enough to know if we're not in edit mode. We need to also know, like, so now we're in edit mode now, and now we're not. But also, when we switched here, we're still not in edit mode. Edit mode changed. But why is this being called? Because the selection. Okay. I see. If we're not in edit mode. Dang it. It's almost like we need another button. So like when we click edit mode, we need like a save button here and a cancel. You know, like having this one button is not a sufficient enough state. Let me just verify my assumption before we go down that rabbit hole. UI development, man. I can't wait for the day when we can program AIs to do this shit for us. I think it's just going to be like a finite state machine authoring tool. And then all the code will be generated based on some like higher level description language. I mean, React is already kind of getting in that direction with like declarative UI. But still, you have to manage the finite state machine in your mind, which I'm doing right now. So let's add a range. And even for relatively simple UIs, the finite state machine is pretty damn complex. Okay. So now, yeah. False. So my assumption is correct what's happening. So edit mode is false, so this is true, and they're not equal because there's nothing selected. Local time ranges. Oh, you know what we could do maybe? We could shit, it's almost like we need a use ref for this. Edit mode. Where is edit mode being changed? Oh, set is edit mode. So on edit time ranges, this is just toggling the edit mode, huh? Yeah, so this button is just toggling true and false. Yeah, this is not bad. This is not enough because we need a cancel button. All right, so now this is actually a complex form now. So we need cancel button here. And we need this to be error on cancel edit time ranges. On cancel edit time ranges. On cancel edit time ranges. Edit mode to false. But this is not. Okay, so this is not correct. On edit mode changed is not correct. On edit time ranges. All right, so we actually have to like handle this complexity here. So we should do it here. All this shit. We should do it like this. So if we're not in edit mode, on edit time ranges, no, if we are in edit mode, and set is edit mode to false. So this is more like what we want to do. The toggling business was too naive. We actually want to, this is correct. We want to do something like this. On edit mode changed, get out of here. So on edit time ranges, it's going to do different things depending on this. So if we're in edit mode, then we update our local time ranges. I think this is right. I think this is what we want to do. On cancel edit time. Oh, but we only want to render this button if we're in edit mode. That's a minor thing. Is edit mode. And we'll just paste this here. All right. So here. It's not editing. On edit. Oh, okay. So we missed a case. So if is edit mode, else set is edit mode to true, because we were toggling it before. So let's see if that works. Create, enable planning, edit time ranges. So if I hit cancel, what happens? Nothing. Great. I hit edit and oh, I still have local time ranges. So this is great. This is what I expected to happen. So I want now add another one. And if I hit save, I have two. Okay. That is expected. But now here's the rub. So if I go back to custom and I come back, they're still there. Okay. So that was the problem. Look at that. I actually understood what the heck was going on. Amazing. So now let's actually test it. If I create this pod, it should create with time range options, even if I have custom. So let's add a custom time. It should ignore this. So let's say Monday and then Tuesday, right? So now we go back. We have our, oh no. Why did it remove them? Dang it. Dag nabbit. Dag nabbit. Stupid thing. So it looks like it's still overriding when I change the mode here, the time option. Time option. Well, the state should be stored here. Right? So the start time... No, I'm sorry. This is a pure component. This is a pure component. And so is this. And so the state should be stored here. So start time is being overridden. Options. This component is being re-rendered because this component is being re-rendered. Render time selector. Okay. And this component is being re-rendered because this one's being re-rendered. Render form. No? Yeah. And it has an end time, a start time, and time range options. All right, well, now I'm confused because it looks like the last time we called render form, we were passing the correct props to the pod time selector. But then when the pod time selector renders, it doesn't have them. This is in render time selector. Undefined, undefined. Start time. Why is this undefined? Why is this undefined? Render time selector. Options. Let's close this. Custom. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. It is working. The option, there's two options here, but they're not rendering. Why aren't they rendering? P time range selector. Where am I logging these options? Here. So option time range options. Option. Oh, interesting. State and end and start are undefined. So the mapping is breaking. So why is that? Why is the mapping breaking? Start and end are undefined. So time range options here. Time range dot start. Time range. So that means these are wrong. This is wrong. Render form. Render form. Time range options. Why is start and end undefined? Start and end should be coming from here where I'm doing the mapping. Start. Get time range options. No, here. Map time range options. Get time option. time option. Map time range options. Start and end. Start time, end time. Time range options. Interesting. Update pod params. Map time range options. Yeah, I don't understand why start time and end time are undefined. Let me refresh. We're pretty close here. We're closing in on it though. This is, once I fix this last issue, I think we'll be good. So let's see. If I come in here and I add a range and I save it, and then I come to, so how did that change here? Options, so it's changed. Close this. Custom. Render time selector. Okay. So now when I update here, time range options. Unsave start time. So when I change this time, render time selector, render form, time range options. So, okay, I see. On time option changed, map time range options. On time option changed, we render the form, and here's where it's undefined. Yeah, okay, render form. So mapping the time pod form hooks, 107. So that's being called here. Map time range options. Because the time option changed. On time option changed. It's called here. Start time, end time, time range options. This should be fine. So this is good. Time range. And then map time options, render form, start end undefined. I almost think I have to make a copy of the array. This is a tricky one. I think I need to, on time options changed, I think I need to do this. I think I need to do that. So I think the actual underlying objects themselves are being garbage collected. Because like we have it here, see, the start time and end time are not strings. They're actually objects in the time range. And then when we render the form, they're undefined. So if we, and this is all being triggered because we're updating the time option. This feels weird though, that we have to, actually this won't work. This is not a deep clone. Well, let me think. Yeah, we should do it here actually, right? We should say like new date. Like my point is this time range is this object is being allocated in this component's memory. And I think we need to create a new object in our memory space so it doesn't get garbage collected. I think that should fix it. Let's try. Where's my music? Yeah, I think we need to create a duplicate date object. So let's add this date. Okay. Oh, did I not add a date? And then I want to switch here. Well, okay, clear this. Switch here. Switch back. And there it is. Yeah. And now if I add this, I think it'll still be broken because the underlying date objects in the time range option are going to be cleared when we remount this component. Yes, that's correct. Okay. So let's fix this. This is a tricky one. I don't think we can just use the on time range options change. In fact, it should happen here actually, right? Where do we call on change? Boom. So here, it's not enough to spread the time ranges themselves. We have to like duplicate the we have to create new dates. Let's try to do it at this level first. I think we have to do it at the pure component level. So let's do like this. Let's do like new date. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. All right, let's see. So if I try this again, save our range. Why is it not letting me add certain times? I'll have to look into that. And then come in here, add a range, start, end. Okay. Now when I come back here, it's going to re-render the time selector. Yeah, but it still has undefined. So it didn't work to create a new date, which means that it's actually being garbage collected at a higher level. Let's get rid of this. I think on time options changed, time range options. Here, map time range options. So map time range options. Maybe if we create the new date here. Yeah, it should be at the hooks level, because this is the state, this is the memory that needs to persist through the re-renders. I think this should work. This is a strange issue though. I feel like if we just turn start and end into a string, we can mitigate this, but I want to keep it date objects in memory. So let's add this again, edit time range here. And then we're going to come into here. And then we're going to clear, add a start time. And end time. Now the moment of truth. No, it's still undefined. Oh, invalidate. I think I need to do like day.js here, right? Like maybe I have to do well, I guess I could just map it to a string. Let me think for a minute. Yeah, let's map it to a string first, just to see if it works. I would prefer if it would just stay an object. Or I can just do toString, I guess. I think that defaults to ISO string. Let's see. End.toString. Let's just actually test it out by saying options sub 0 dot start options sub 0 dot start and then toString. Let's see what that looks like. I think it's an ISO string. Oh, I think after this I'm going to call it. I'm getting kind of sleepy. My brain is starting to fizzle out. Right. Add custom. Select the time. Oh shit, what happened? Oh, so it can't be toString if undefined. So where are we actually rendering it? Here we go, options. So I guess the toString thing didn't work. Oh, it's because it's option.timerange.start. Wait a minute. Ah, shit. This is kind of hacky. But I think we can do this for now. I gotta refactor this whole frickin' thing. You see what I'm saying? This mapping is handling two different cases. Or two different input scenarios. So we'll add our range. Okay, I'm going to add our custom time. Okay. And now if I go back here. Okay, so now it works. Okay. Alright, so I should put a to-do in there. That's kind of ugly. Well, I could just call this normalize time range options. We should not have to do this. Normalization. Here. Oh shit, I didn't want to dang it. No, don't reload. Oh, that actually worked. So I want to now save this pod. Interested, public, 3, but I want to now set custom. And what should happen is when I create it. Oh shit, what happened? User ID is not defined. Oh, okay, we don't actually want the user ID. So when we, all right, let's fix that real quick. So time range options. Where are we doing the inverse mapping? Here. So user ID undefined. So what I want to do is make sure that I'm why is this not reloading? Come on. I broke it. What we want to make sure is that if I set the time range options and then I set it to have a explicit start and end time, that it respects the currently selected radio option, which I think it should. I think we already added that logic. So let's make sure. So whenever I code, I always do 3 phases. I get it working, I get it working right, and then I get it working fast. And sometimes I can skip the 3rd phase depending on the scenario. So I usually just like brute force my way through a solution, usually using TDD, but with UI, TDD is sometimes not worth it because it takes a lot to test complex UI scenarios. And you might be throwing them out depending on the user feedback. With backend stuff, it's required, obviously, but with front end, I don't do a lot of TDD. So I get it working, and then I refactor it to make it nice. And then if it's not performant enough, I'll go and make some performance improvements. And that generally works pretty well. If you try to do 2 or 3 of those things at the first pass, in my experience, it never goes well. Okay, so we have our time options. We have a custom time. Now if I create the pod, what the heck? Field user ID is not defined by time range input. Oh, so okay, so then this is actually a valid error. We should not be sending in our request. We're sending the wrong variables. End time, start time. So time range options is still being sent. First of all, it's being sent with a user ID, which is incorrect. All right, so we just gotta fix this. Where is this happening? Create pod. Here. So if the time option is custom, so time range options should have been undefined here. Let's take a look at this. Create pod params and get time options should be mapping correctly. State start end. So something's just not working here. Are we sure? Are we sure create pod wrapper is even being called? If params, let me do this. Otherwise we pass the variables. All right, I don't think that params is being passed to create pod wrapper. Where's the form? On create pod. On create pod. Well, let's just test it out. Let's go to enable planning, add a time range. And then if I create, what did I call it? On create pod? Create pod. I don't think this is even being called correctly. Create pod. Oh, no, not here. Yeah, so we're not even calling this wrapper function. Create pod wrapper. Pod, create pod. What are we calling create pod? Okay, we're pulling that in from here. On save. Oh my god. On save. My pod. So this is gonna be false. Yeah, so we need to pass pod params here. That's the bug, right? Because this is expecting it. Where's the create pod wrapper? Params. Where is variables being defined? Variables is input. Input is... Oh, no. This is... I'm sorry. This is actually all correct. This should be like this. This should be map time range options. Pod params dot time range options. Oh, it's just time range options. So like this. Where the hell was I? Here. We're already destructuring it off the pod params. So, oh, I see. So all this logic I was doing in here is pretty much duplicated. All right. To do, make this code dry. We're doing it in 3 places now. You see what I'm saying? So this is the variables are being defined here. You can get rid of start time, end time, and time range options. And this is not params. This is just time option, I believe. Are we destructuring time option off the pod params? We are not. So let's do that. And then we can get rid of params here. Params dot goes to nothing. Alright, so this is all duplicate logic. This whole freaking file needs to be refactored. Again, get it working right, get it working fast. In that order. Oh shit, I effed up. Oh, day.utc is not a function. Well, we'll fix that in a minute. But I just messed up. How do I leave pod? This actually deletes the pod if you're the only one left. All right, let's create that again. This time actually adding a time range. So here, edit, and then create. Okay, so it actually created the pod, it seems. Get event, get pod, get current user, create pod. So I think it sent the correct data. Event ID max size. No, it didn't. It didn't send time range options. Why is this not even being called? I don't understand. On save, my pod. Let's leave this. This should be on save should be called when we click create. Yeah. See, we just left the pod, which deletes it. So let's add a time range option. I'm not really understanding why when I click create pod undefined. Oh, it is calling create pod. So this is going to be variables. Let's actually just debug this at this point. These console logs are not serving us well anymore. Let's try to figure this out. It's almost 9:30. We're going a little over here, but we're very close. So let's just finish it. Create pod, animal planning. Add a time range, and then create. So this is going to be undefined. Good. But variables should be input. Event ID. Why is this all... Oh, you know why? It's because I'm not using use callback here. Create pod wrapper is being exported, but it's not changing when variables changes. Yeah, update pod wrapper has use callback. Where's create pod wrapper? Join pod wrapper. Yeah, use callback. That's why. This was kind of a gotcha when I was first learning hooks. So we want in here variables and a bunch of other stuff actually, I think. What is this saying? Skip. Not params. Actually, I think that's just it. Variables and skip, right? What's this complaining about? The refetch queries is being... Wait, what? Oh. This is like the definition of being too clever. You know what I'm saying? This freaking file is like trying to do too much. Way too much. Way too much. Oh, okay. Let's try this again. Turn on our debugger. Come on. Out of range. And then we want to create variables. Why is this still undefined? Don't understand. Oh, you know why? It's because variables changes when pod params changes. Oh my gosh, this is so complicated. So it's an indirect. Jesus, this is not worth why did I do it this way? This is definitely not worth doing this way. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I understand why this is not changing, but let's just do this at this point. Where's on save? I'm getting tired. I just want this thing to work. We'll have to come back and refactor this. This is just way too let's do it like this. This should work. I was trying to be too clever. I was trying to like remove some of the logic from the React component and put it all in the hooks. But at this point, obviously that's going to bite me in the butt. So we're going to refactor that later. Alright, I think I can delete these console logs in a second once I get this time range option working. Oh, sorry if I'm making noises with my mouth. I should probably like move away from the thing when I'm drinking. Alright, so why isn't this loading? Let's try it again. I think the dev tools is dead. Yeah, I killed the tab. Let's try again. All right, get the dev tools back. Boom, 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 boom. Now let's go back to sources, turn on. Okay, debugging is on. So params should now be good. Okay, so we our time ranges coming in. Let's see if the data looks good. Start, end. Okay. So we should be able to continue. Oh, field event ID of required ID is not defined. We're not passing the event ID, huh? Why is that? Why are we not passing the event ID? Oh, I think we're just not passing it. In pod params. Here. Input event ID. Pod event ID. Where are the pod params? Well, we can just add that here. We can just add it here. Let's do it like this. Let's make this required. And then we'll say event ID. I'm missing a thing now. Alright. I think, and we can get rid of this too, right? Oh no, we need event ID. Why can't I type? I think I'm missing another one. Oh shit. Oh my god, where is it here? Variables. Oh yeah, we're not using this one anymore. I'm gonna go and refactor this whole file, and once we get it working. Again, this was when I was first learning the hooks API, obviously. This is not the way to do it. It's put everything in one giant hooks file. Okay. Let's see if we can now create. Aha, okay, I think it worked. I think we actually created it. Let's see if that went through. So, where's create pod? Huh? Here. Dang it. Date.utse, add to calendar. Oh, I guess I have to format the times before I send them to GraphQL because they're in that like weird format. Yeah, I think I have to do this. I think in the get time range options, I have to like toString the times. Let's see if that's what I have to do. Get pod. Get pods by event ID. Yeah, so it's not saving the time range options because the get time range options, this is not working. Enable planning. Add the time range. Now, is my debugger on? It's not. Let's turn that on. So the options, variables, input, time range options is undefined. Oh, interesting. Why is time option undefined? Time option should be enable planning. Time option. Resetting this. Oh. Oh, okay. I'm just not setting it. Time option undefined. Pod params. So we're setting the time option here. Set time option on change. Oh, okay. So we're actually not triggering a on change from this component. And that on change triggers this on time option changed. So we need to do that. Time option. And we'll send that here. Well, actually, yeah, let's just do it like this. All right. And then we need to change it here. Time range option. Time option. This is in 3 places. See, this code can also be dry. One tip I like to, I don't actually like to make the code dry until the first pass is working, because after you like copy things 3 times, then the abstractions become clear, like where you should refactor. But if you try to do it as you're coding, again, in my experience, like you don't come to the best conclusions when you try to refactor as you're going. I just like to make like multiple passes through the code. All right, so let's go here and then add a time range. Yeah, why is it that when I oh, interesting. Time option. I don't think I set the time option correctly. Where's the params? Oh, no, I did. Time option is now enable planning. So the options should have time range options. Okay. Event ID. This looks good. So now what's it going to complain about? UTC is not a function. Yeah, so I have to create pod. So this is actually working. I'm giving time range options. Oh no, okay, so it is calling toString for me. The Apollo middleware, it looks like. So what's the response here? We create the pod. And then we have, oh, we don't have the time range options in the response. That's why. So that's actually expected then. Day.js UTC update result on mutation completed. Okay. So we need to return the time range options. Let's see. DayJS UTC is not a function. This is happening in, wait, add to calendar. Start time, end time. Add to calendar line 39. Why is add to calendar line 39 being called? Here. Start time, add to calendar event on data changed.
Wow.
Add to calendar. Oh, this is a bug in this component actually. Start time. Yeah, like this is interesting. Add to cal. So if not start time, return null. Set event. Yeah, we don't actually want to render this. Wait. Interesting. Should have said return null here. I'm a bit confused. Oh, look at that. We have our time range. Woohoo! Let's try doing the same thing, but now adding a start and an end time. So create pod. We'll add another time range. Okay. And oh yeah, see it's resetting. Oh, I see why we're not passing the prop. I'll fix that in a second. Let's go here. Select this. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so then we should still have this. Okay, so if we create it now, create. Whoa. End time is not defined by. So we shouldn't have been sending the create time in the input. Here. Start time. End time. Oh, it's because we weren't updating the, I see. Okay, I understand. So we need to update the value of this pod selector. On value changed. On values changed. It's undefined. That's why. This is... The value is undefined. Wait a minute. I don't need this. I don't think I even need this function on value changed. Yeah, I think I can get away with not having this at all. So, here. So if I add this, and then yeah, see, I don't need that add value. That here. So let's try this again. Let's try adding a start time and an end time. Start time, end time. Come back here. Okay, so now when I hit create, even if I'm on, this should not add a start and end time to the response, to the request. Let's see. create? Ah, dang it. It did. Why is start time and end time here? This is not what I expected. Because in here you see, where are we doing it? Where are we doing it? Where are we doing it? No, in pod form hooks here. Start time. If time option is custom, no, not here. Here. Time option is custom, then we render start time. Yeah, this should not. Time option. Let's debug this. Let's debug it. Dang it, we're so close. This is like killing me here. Let's turn this on. Don't worry about the UI. We'll clean up the UI once everything's working. The complexity is in the state management, as you can tell. All right, so come in here. Select this, select end date, and then come here. So when I hit create, let's debug it. The options, end time and start time, why are they being added? What's time option? Custom. Why? On value changed. So when the radio option changes, where is it? Radio grid? Here, on change, on radio changed. Set time option. Oh, okay, duh, we just have to do this. That's dumb. Yeah, we don't need this on value change at all. Well, let's not delete it yet. I think that's what it was. Let's turn this off. Save this. Reload. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think we're there. All right. Come on. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Like, I should have just started off by refactoring this hooks file. It would have saved me time in the long run. But that sunk cost fallacy is strong, you know what I mean? All right, let's close this, try again. And then, is it loading? Should load. I think I lost my Webpack server. Come on. Dang it. Shoot. Ah, figures right when you're so close, I have to restart the server. I gotta update my React scripts, I think. It's been a while. Okay. Why is this taking so long to load? What's going on? There we go. Let's go back to here. Get some dev tools going. All right. Now, this is the moment of truth. I really think we're going to get lucky this time. We'll add our time range. We will add a start time and an end time. And we will go back to our time ranges and we will save. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, what the heck? Why? Why is time option still custom? Doesn't make any sense. On radio changed. Oh. Alright, this is a clear sign that I'm tired. This is a very clear sign that I'm too tired right now. I should go to bed. It was a dumb mistake. Save that. And reload that. I thought I had it, you guys. I thought I had it. Alright, let's see. Come on, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Why does this happen? Okay, I think I figured out what the problem is. When I hot reload in the middle of a debugging session, maybe I can just close this thing, refresh the page. At least now I understand. Yeah, it's unresponsive. So exit the page, reload the page, then I have to reload DevTools. Yeah, okay. So note to self, you cannot do a hot reload in the middle of a debugging Chrome debug line. All right, that's good to know. All right, well, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's add a time range. End time. And then we're gonna create options. I'm about to lose my shit. All right, let's take a step back here. I'm gonna lose my mind. Why is this not being called? Well, first of all, let's get out of this. This is gonna fail. That's fine. Dismiss. Reload. Why is on radio change not being called? Riddle me this. So let's go to this. Yeah, like what the heck? On radio changed. Radio grid. Where's that coming from? Radio grid. Pure components. On change. Handle change. e.target.value set value on change new value. Hello. Why is this not being called? What? What? Oh, I don't understand. On change new value. All right. What? New value on change radio grid. On radio changed. Radio grid on change. Oh my gosh, I don't understand. Why is on radio changed not being called? Oh, why? Why? Let's just step into it. Let's go. Let's go in. Boom. It is being called. Use event time. Oh. Time option. Set time option. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, it's hot reloading, good. So now I can continue. So you're supposed to do it like that. You're supposed to let it hot reload by continuing, not by refreshing the tab. Okay, I think I understand. Okay, I see. I see now. So the time option is not being passed in. This value, default time option, this is not the responsibility of this. This should not be time option. This should be value. Value is going to be mapped to time option. This is a pure component. It should not have its own state. And then time option is the value of the grid. On radio changed. Calls. We don't need this anymore. On value changed. Okay. Okay, I think that's what we want to do. Where's the music? Okay. So if we add our option. Yeah, there's for some reason there's certain blocks that are blacklisted that I'm not sure why they are. So then I go to use event time and I hit create options, use event time. Okay, that is what it was. So that means the options here. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. I think it works now. Let's test this out for real. Yeah, that UTC thing. Add to calendar. Did I save that? Start time. Yeah, let's actually look at what this start time is. Add to cal. That's confusing to me. Add to cal. Oh. The event start time. UTC is not a function. DayGIS. I think this is a bug. I'll fix this later. This is I think I know what's going on here. I ran into this before. Okay, so I think this is gonna work for real. OMG. Let's delete the pod we created. And it has no time ranges, which is good. So now we're going to create a new one. We're going to say enable planning. We're going to add a time range. We're going to say, oh no, you know what? Actually, let's give it a real time, start time, end time. But then we're going to say, actually, never mind. I want to go back to my time range options. And we're going to hit create. And it's going to create the pod with come on. Create pod. Why didn't it create? Oh, it gave it the time range options. Oh my god, it worked. So we just have to do the refetch queries. Yeah. Okay, refetch queries. That's happening here. Create pod options. Refetch queries. If params. What are the refetch queries? Get current user. Get pods by user ID. Get pods by event ID. That's interesting. That should have called. Why didn't the refetch queries fire? Well, that's a good place to pick up, honestly, next time. It's 10 o'clock. The refetch query did not fire after we created the pod. But as you can see, the pod was created, and we have the time range option. Woohoo! Oh, all right, so, my goodness. That was a brutal one. Because this gigantic tech debt file here of all these hooks, very ugly. So let's, again, give us a very good, what's that? What did people say? Always park downhill. So that's a great way of explaining what I do, which is reduce the startup friction. So here, right here, the startup friction is 0 now because I'm going to say to do, start here. Refetch queries are not being fired. All right. So let me take a step back before I sign off here. So where are we? We implemented the time selector smart component. We added the time selector to the pod form. Now we need to refactor these time range selector out of the pure component. So we need to move it out of this. Oh, actually this is pretty involved because we need to, let's go to the source tree. We need to do this. We need to add a planning enum, a planning value to the pod state enum so that we can not query the time range options unless we are actually trying to join the pod. Okay, so that's actually a big one. And then we're almost done then. Then we just have to, verify the time ranges are within the event start and end time. Refactor the event filters to include a virtual option. I thought I did that. Let's go to discover. And let's go to filter, event, sort dating option. I thought there was a, I guess I didn't. Anyways, we should have like a virtual event option here. And then fix the invalid date in the event card. That's minor. And then show time ranges in the calendar while in edit mode. Oh yeah, so we didn't do that. That's a UX thing, right? So when we are in the here, edit time ranges. Oh, that's another bug. Well, we can fix that later. But yeah, when you're editing the time ranges, I actually want to see the time ranges in the calendar view, and I want to be able to drag them and move them around and like delete them easily. Oh my gosh, and then we're done this gigantic feature. And then we can move on. Okay, well, let's quickly take a look at what we did. Let's reset this. We got a couple of people still watching. The diehard fans. Oh yeah, this is a to-do as well. I'm not sure what that UTC thing is all about. I have an idea. I think I just need to upgrade the library. Okay, so we updated the pod form hooks quite a bit. Let's not commit that yet. What did we do here? On time option changed. I think we can commit this. We don't need this render. Oh no, you know, we didn't have the loading state yet. This is going to be related to the next thing, which is this. Because we're going to load the time range options imperatively. So we're going to have to do that as a to-do. Okay. And then the pod time selector smart component, I think we can commit this. Yeah, let's commit this. This is done. It's done enough for now. Let's go down here and delete this. Delete the debugger statement. Delete this on value changed, which we don't need. I love deleting code. I really do. It's my favorite thing to do. Get rid of this console log. Get rid of this use effect. It's always a wonderful feeling when you can delete use effect lines. I think that's it. 200 lines is still pretty beefy. Okay. Let's commit that. Implement pod time selector. Oh, actually, this is a pure component now, isn't it? It is. So let's move it into the pure components folder. Where's that? Here. Wink. And then where were we referencing it? Pod time selector. That's coming from here. So this is pure components. The reason I'm making this distinction is I'm going to split them out into a React Storybook when I get a chance. Okay, very good. Should still compile, I think. Oh, yeah, that's the bug I didn't fix yet. So let's go back to the event. Let's go to edit pod. Okay, so still rendering. So let's say implement pod time selector pure component. We'll add that here. And we're gonna add that here. What happened in MUI Treasury? Oh yeah, we made some fixes to this this component as well. We'll commit that. Let's commit this one. Skip that. So let's go to our P time range selector. Clean up some console logs. Wait, what was this again? Time range. Yeah, that was. I remember. Okay, delete this console log. Oh yeah, and this is going to look like this instead. This is going to say is edit mode. Then it's going to say save changes. Or it's going to say edit time ranges. That's better. Save changes or edit time ranges. So if I edit the pod, edit time ranges. What is this? Where's this coming from? React big calendar. d.get.method is not a function. Ah, shoot. So actually there seems to be a bug in this component. So let's fix this. To do start here. Fix update time range bug. I think I know what it is, but I'm too tired to get to start it, so we'll do it later. All right. We will not commit this then. We'll commit it next time. We'll start there. All right. For those of you that stuck with me, thanks for joining me on a nice Sunday night on a Mother's Day. And we're getting pretty close, man, to the end of this feature. Well, at least the end of the first pass. Again, we have to do another pass, refactoring the code and improving the UX. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We almost have it functional. All right, with that, I'm going to sign off, and you guys have a great week and great Sunday night.